Okay, here's a little primer on wiring up heavy artwork and just wiring up artwork in general. First thing I've done is I've taken this T-square, and I've made marks. Here are the 1 foot mark, but I've also made a mark where I want the wire to hit when it's tightened up. So that's the first step. Because we're doing a lot of these, I'm marking them all exactly the same so that hopefully the wires will hit mostly at the same spot when we go to hang them. Okay, the next thing is putting the D-rings on, and on these heavier artwork it's important to put them on going in this way rather than going in this way, because if you go in this way, the weight of the work will actually pull the screws out, and so they need to be in perpendicular rather than sideways. On lighter artwork it's fine to do it on the inside of the stretchers, but on heavier stuff that you really need to put it on the outside because it will pull the screws out, and that's the case with these. If you look closely, I'm looping. First I'm doing a loop, I go through the D-ring, but then I go through again so that when I pull it tight, basically it won't slip. But then it's important also, once that's done, to knot it. So I'm going to do just 2 simple loops through like that. And I'm going to do that twice. I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. So I've tied 2 knots right there, and now I'll twist this wire around. And the twisting around just basically holds the wire in place and gives you a little slack to work with. But the twisting of the wire itself around the slack is not doing anything to hold it. It's the going through one time and then knotting that's holding it to the D-ring. Okay, again, because this is such a heavy piece, I'm going to actually do the wire across twice. And so once I've gone through the D-ring over here, you see I've looped it through again a second time. And that's going to help me when I go to try to get this wire. I want this wire, when it's tight, to come right exactly to that line. And so having that loop through over there, besides just keeping it from slipping, is also going to make it easier for me to set the length of the wire. Okay, I've gotten it right where I want it, and because I've looped it over here, it's kind of locked it into place so that when I pull it tight, it's not slipping. And so I've got it, the wire is hitting right at that red line, more or less. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the wire all the way across so that it becomes 1 wire rather than 2. And you can see I've got the wire down about halfway across. This is going very quickly, so this doesn't take hardly any time at all. But I'm going to do that all the way until I get over to the other side. That way there's only 1 wire and not 2 loose wires, if that makes any sense. Now that I'm back over here and it's wrapped all the way across, I'm going to do the same thing I did before, which is I'm going to go through and then go through the ring one more time, pull it tight, and then I'm going to tie 2 knots and then wrap off the excess. Okay, so I've done that again. I've tied 2 more knots. So there's 2 knots here, then back across, and then wrapped across, and then 2 more knots. It's looped through twice on both. I've wrapped off the excess, and now I have 1 heavy-duty wire that, once I put some weight on this, is going to stop right at that red mark. And hopefully that'll make it so that all these canvases will hang on a nail at the same height. There's going to be some variability with that, but it should make life a little easier. And that's it. Oh, the one other thing I wanted to add is that I used heavier duty. Because these are so heavy, I got some heavier screws. These are number 6 3/4 inch screws, which are bigger than the screws that came with the D-rings. And so that's hopefully going to keep these from tearing out also. So, all right. Let me know if you have any questions.